Hi, this is Drea, and I just received a question from someone about homeschooling. And here's the question. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on exit exams in Georgia. Apparently, there's a problem with students passing the physical science aspect of the test, or at least the Augusta Chronicle featured an article about a black female student's inability to pass the science portion of the exit exam. If my memory serves me correctly, she has made 4 attempts at the test. I would love to get your take on the subject. By the way, are your children required to take these tests? Also, I don't reside in Georgia, however I was considering it. So on and so forth. And so they asked me to post a video response. How do I feel? What are my thoughts on the exit exams in Georgia? I'm really torn. With so many graduated illiterates, around, it kind of makes sense that there be a test required for a student to pass high school. A physical science portion of the test, I don't really know if that's necessary. There needs to be a math portion. There needs to be a English portion. There needs to be a writing portion. Why did this particular student have trouble passing the physical science aspect of the test? If my memory serves me correctly, this student was a B+ to A student. My thought is that she didn't take challenging science classes. She took the easiest science classes available. I'm not a native Georgian, but where I went to high school, there was survey, and there was regents, and there was honors. And it just burned me up that students who took the survey classes were ranked in with those of us who took the regents and honors classes. And so I found myself ranked lower than kids who didn't know half of what I knew. So I'm thinking maybe there's her problem right there. It's a shame that she's not passing the test and that she's not going to graduate. She's made 4 attempts. She's probably not going to pass the test. Now, are my children required to take the test? As homeschoolers, my children are not required to take the test. And here's a law that covers that. Georgia's Home Study Law, GA Code ANN 20-2-690-C7 requires that children take a national standardized achievement test every 3 years, beginning at the end of the 3rd grade. These scores are not to be submitted to public school authorities, but are only to be seen and kept on file at least 3 years by parents. There is no exit exam required of homeschool high school students to graduate. Something you may have noticed is that Georgia doesn't even want to see the tests taken by homeschoolers, and they don't want those tests compared to public school students, because chances are, and it's not chances are, studies show that these tests are significantly higher. Now, while my children are not required to take these tests, my children would surely pass this test. Georgia is kind enough to put last year's tests online for this year's students to practice, which makes me wonder if this child studied, the one we're talking about. And I give those tests to my children to take, and my children always just go through them really quick and pass them. So my children's base knowledge is enough to pass these tests, but my kids are not required to take these tests. So if you're afraid about moving to Georgia on basis of these tests with your child graduating 1 year, you can go ahead and move to Georgia and take the practice tests that are found online, or I guess you could wait, like you said, you're thinking of waiting. So I hope I answered your question well, and have a good day.